The PlayStation 3 era was marked by innovation and the maturation of gaming as an art form. It brought high-definition graphics, complex narratives, and revolutionary gameplay mechanics to the forefront. The console's diverse game library catered to all types of players, from those seeking epic adventures to those craving intense action. This list of the top 30 PS3 games highlights the best of what the console had to offer, celebrating titles that have left a lasting impact on the gaming world. The Last of Us is a post-apocalyptic action-adventure game that tells the gripping story of Joel and Ellie, two survivors navigating a world ravaged by a deadly fungal infection. As they journey across the United States, they encounter dangerous infected creatures and hostile human factions. The gameplay combines stealth, exploration, and intense combat, emphasizing resource management and strategic planning. Highlights include its deeply emotional narrative, realistic character development, and atmospheric world design, making it one of the most impactful games on the PS3. God of War 3 is an action-adventure game that continues the saga of Kratos, the Spartan warrior seeking revenge against the Greek gods. Set in the mythological world of ancient Greece, the game features epic battles against gods and titans, blending fast-paced combat with intricate puzzle-solving. The mechanics revolve around Kratos' iconic weapons, such as the Blades of Exile, and his ability to unleash powerful combos and magic attacks. Highlights include the breathtaking visuals, cinematic storytelling, and the exhilarating sense of scale during boss fights. Red Dead Redemption is an open-world action-adventure game set in the final years of the American Wild West. Players take on the role of John Marston, a former outlaw seeking to bring his old gang members to justice. The game offers a vast, immersive world filled with dynamic events, side missions, and diverse landscapes. The gameplay blends gunfights, horseback riding, and exploration, with a strong emphasis on narrative choices and character development. Highlights include its richly detailed world, compelling storyline, and the freedom to explore a beautifully crafted western frontier. Batman: Arkham City is an action-adventure game that places players in the role of the Dark Knight as he navigates the dangerous streets of Arkham City, a sprawling super prison for Gotham's most notorious criminals. The game combines stealth, combat, and detective work, with players using Batman's gadgets and combat skills to take down enemies and solve intricate puzzles. The mechanics include the free-flow combat system, which allows for fluid and dynamic fighting sequences. Highlights include the atmospheric setting, engaging storyline, and the sense of empowerment that comes from playing as Batman. Mass Effect 3 is a sci-fi action RPG that concludes the epic saga of Commander Shepard and their battle against the Reapers, a race of ancient machines bent on destroying all advanced life in the galaxy. Players can shape the story through their choices, affecting the fate of entire civilizations and the outcome of the war. The gameplay features squad-based combat, exploration of diverse planets, and deep character customization. Highlights include the emotionally charged narrative, the complex moral decisions, and the richly developed universe. Burnout Paradise is an open-world racing game set in the fictional Paradise City, where players can compete in various types of races and events. The game emphasizes high-speed action and spectacular crashes, with a focus on exploration and player freedom. The mechanics include a wide range of vehicles, customizable options, and the ability to perform stunts and takedowns. Highlights include the seamless open-world design, the adrenaline-fueled racing, and the satisfying sense of speed and destruction. Street Fighter 4 is a fighting game that revitalizes the classic franchise with updated graphics, new characters, and refined mechanics. Players can choose from a diverse roster of fighters, each with unique moves and abilities, and compete in intense one-on-one battles. The gameplay focuses on mastering combos, special moves, and strategies to outsmart opponents. Highlights include the smooth animation, the balanced gameplay, and the competitive multiplayer experience that keeps players coming back for more. Max Payne 3 is a third-person shooter that continues the story of Max Payne, a former NYPD detective haunted by his tragic past. Now working as a private security contractor in Brazil, Max finds himself embroiled in a dangerous conspiracy. The gameplay features intense gunfights, a bullet-time mechanic that allows for slow-motion shooting, and a gripping narrative. Highlights include the cinematic presentation, the dark and gritty storyline, and the fluid, action-packed combat sequences. Bayonetta is an action-adventure game developed by Platinum Games that stands out for its stylish combat and over-the-top presentation. Players control Bayonetta, a witch with a mysterious past, as she battles angels and other supernatural enemies using a combination of melee attacks, firearms, and magical abilities. The game is renowned for its fluid and dynamic combat system, which allows for a wide array of combos and special moves. Highlights include the game's fast-paced action, the creative and visually stunning boss battles, and Bayonetta's charismatic personality and intricate backstory. Call of Duty 4: Modern Warfare revolutionized the first-person shooter genre with its intense and cinematic gameplay. Set in a contemporary conflict, the game follows multiple protagonists, including a British SAS operative and a US Marine, as they tackle global threats. The mechanics emphasize realistic combat scenarios, with a focus on tactical gameplay and a robust multiplayer mode. Highlights of the game include its gripping single-player campaign, the introduction of the highly popular multiplayer system, and the iconic all-gillied-up mission, which remains one of the most memorable levels in gaming history. Deus Ex: Human Revolution is a cyberpunk-themed action RPG that explores themes of transhumanism and corporate conspiracy. Players step into the shoes of Adam Jensen, a security officer augmented with advanced cybernetic implants, as he uncovers a global conspiracy. The game offers a mix of stealth, combat, and dialogue-driven interactions, allowing players to approach objectives in various ways. The mechanics include skill trees for different augmentations, choices that affect the narrative, and multiple endings. Highlights include the game's deep and engaging story, the flexibility in gameplay approach, and the richly detailed futuristic world. Fallout: New Vegas is an open-world RPG set in a post-apocalyptic desert wasteland. Players assume the role of the courier, who is left for dead and seeks revenge while getting entangled in a power struggle between various factions vying for control of New Vegas. The game emphasizes exploration, with a vast world filled with diverse characters, quests, and locations. Mechanics include a deep character customization system, a branching narrative with multiple endings, and the ability to influence faction relationships. Highlights include the game's compelling storytelling, the freedom of choice in gameplay, and the richly atmospheric setting. The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim is an epic open-world RPG that transports players to the fantasy realm of Tamriel. Players take on the role of the Dragonborn, a hero prophesied to save the world from an ancient dragon threat. The game features a vast, open world teeming with dungeons, cities, and diverse landscapes to explore. Mechanics include a deep skill system, extensive character customization, and a plethora of quests and side activities. Highlights include the game's immersive world, the freedom to create and develop a unique character, and the epic scale of its main quest and side stories. Grand Theft Auto 4 is an open-world action-adventure game that tells the story of Niko Bellic, an Eastern European immigrant trying to escape his past while seeking fortune in Liberty City. The game's narrative is a gritty exploration of the American dream, filled with complex characters and moral dilemmas. The gameplay combines driving, shooting, and exploration, with players free to engage in various side activities and missions. Highlights include the richly detailed urban environment, the engaging storyline, and the freedom to cause chaos in a living, breathing city. Diablo 3 is an action RPG that continues the legendary battle between the forces of heaven and hell. Players choose from several character classes, each with unique abilities, and embark on a quest to defeat the prime evil, Diablo. The game features fast-paced combat, an extensive loot system, and a deep skill customization system. Mechanics include randomized dungeons, cooperative multiplayer, and a robust endgame with various challenges and difficulties. Highlights include the addictive loot-driven gameplay, the dynamic combat, and the dark, atmospheric world of Sanctuary. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is an open-world stealth action game that follows the story of Big Boss, also known as Venom Snake, as he seeks revenge against those who destroyed his forces. Set in Afghanistan and Africa, the game offers unparalleled freedom in how players approach missions, emphasizing stealth, strategy, and tactical espionage. Mechanics include a dynamic day-night cycle, realistic enemy AI, and extensive customization options for weapons and equipment. Highlights include the game's intricate story, the expansive open-world environments, and the innovative stealth mechanics. Far Cry 4 is an open-world first-person shooter set in the fictional Himalayan region of Curated. Players assume the role of Ajay Gale, who becomes embroiled in a civil war between the tyrannical pagan men and the rebel Golden Path. The gameplay emphasizes exploration, with a variety of vehicles, weapons, and wildlife interactions. Mechanics include capturing outposts, crafting items from hunted animals, and completing diverse side missions. Highlights include the stunningly detailed open world, the engaging and chaotic combat, and the memorable villain Pagan Men. Little Big Planet is a platformer that emphasizes creativity and community. Players control Sackboy, a customizable character who can run, jump, and manipulate objects to solve puzzles and navigate levels. The game features a robust level editor, allowing players to create and share their own levels with the online community. Mechanics include a physics-based gameplay system and cooperative multiplayer, where players can work together to complete challenges. Highlights include the charming and whimsical art style, the endless creativity offered by the level editor, and the collaborative fun of multiplayer. Assassin's Creed 2 is an action-adventure game that follows the story of Ezio Auditore da Firenze, a young nobleman who becomes an assassin to avenge his family. Set during the Italian Renaissance, the game features stunning historical cities such as Florence and Venice. The gameplay combines parkour, stealth, and combat, with players able to explore vast open-world environments. Mechanics include a variety of assassination techniques, a dynamic economy, and an engaging story filled with historical figures. Highlights include the richly detailed historical settings, the compelling narrative, and the fluid parkour mechanics. Sleeping Dogs is an open-world action-adventure game set in a fictionalized version of Hong Kong. Players take on the role of Wei Shen, an undercover cop tasked with infiltrating and dismantling the triads from within. The gameplay combines hand-to-hand combat, shooting, and driving, with a strong emphasis on martial arts. Mechanics include a deep cover system, a variety of side activities, and a reputation system that affects how characters interact with Wei. Highlights include the immersive and vibrant open world, the engaging combat system, and the intricate storyline blending police procedural with criminal intrigue. Killzone 3 is a first-person shooter set in a dystopian future where players continue the fight against the Helghast army. The game follows protagonists Sev and Rico as they navigate hostile environments to survive and thwart the enemy's plans. The gameplay features intense firefights, diverse weaponry, and vehicular combat, with a strong emphasis on strategic cover-based shooting. Highlights included stunning visuals, the immersive single-player campaign, and the robust multiplayer mode that kept players engaged long after the main story ended. Castlevania: Lords of Shadow is an action-adventure game that reboots the classic franchise with a new story and modern gameplay mechanics. Players take on the role of Gabriel Belmont, a member of the Brotherhood of Light, on a quest to defeat the titular Lords of Shadow and resurrect his deceased wife. The gameplay combines melee combat, platforming, and puzzle solving, with a deep combo system and magical abilities. Highlights include its epic storyline, beautifully designed environments, and the challenging and rewarding combat system. Ratchet & Clank Future: A Crack in Time is a platformer that follows the adventures of Ratchet and his robotic companion Clank as they journey to save the universe. The game introduces new time manipulation mechanics, allowing Clank to create time copies to solve puzzles, while Ratchet uses a variety of gadgets and weapons in combat. Highlights include its vibrant graphics, engaging storyline, and the seamless blend of platforming, puzzle solving, and action gameplay that defines the series. Need for Speed: Hot Pursuit is a racing game that reinvigorates the series with high-speed chases and intense competition. Players can choose to be either racers or cops, each with their own set of vehicles and tools to use during races and pursuits. The gameplay focuses on thrilling high-speed chases, strategic use of gadgets like spike strips and EMPs, and a dynamic open-world environment. Highlights include its adrenaline-pumping action, the competitive multiplayer mode, and the stunning visuals that bring the fast-paced world to life. Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception is an action-adventure game that follows treasure hunter Nathan Drake on a quest to uncover the lost city of Ubar. The game features cinematic storytelling, with a blend of platforming, puzzle-solving, and third-person shooting mechanics. Highlights include its engaging narrative, breathtaking set pieces, and the strong character development that makes players deeply invested in Drake's journey. Dante's Inferno is an action-adventure game inspired by the epic poem The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri. Players control Dante, a crusader who journeys through the 9 circles of hell to rescue his beloved Beatrice. The gameplay is heavily combat-focused, with players using a combination of melee attacks, magic, and a grappling hook to defeat enemies and traverse the environment. Highlights include its dark and atmospheric setting, intense and brutal combat, and the imaginative interpretation of hell's various circles. Deadpool is an action game that brings the merc with a mouth to life in a hilariously irreverent adventure. Players control Deadpool as he embarks on a mission filled with fourth-wall-breaking humor, over-the-top combat, and a variety of weapons and abilities. The gameplay combines melee and ranged combat with platforming and puzzle-solving elements. Highlights include the game's comedic narrative, the faithful representation of Deadpool's character, and the fast-paced, chaotic combat. Marvel: Ultimate Alliance is an action RPG that lets players assemble a team of their favorite Marvel superheroes to take on Doctor Doom and his Masters of Evil. The game features a vast roster of characters, each with unique abilities and powers, and allows for deep customization of the team. The gameplay focuses on cooperative combat, with players able to switch between heroes on the fly. Highlights include the extensive character selection, the engaging story, and the cooperative multiplayer mode that enhances the fun. BioShock Infinite is a first-person shooter set in the floating city of Columbia. Players control Booker DeWitt, a former Pinkerton agent tasked with rescuing a mysterious woman named Elizabeth. The gameplay combines shooting mechanics with plasmid-like powers, offering a variety of ways to approach combat situations. Highlights include its richly detailed world, thought-provoking story, and the dynamic relationship between Booker and Elizabeth that drives the narrative forward. Ninja Gaiden 3: Razor's Edge is an action game that follows the adventures of Ryu Hayabusa, a master ninja, as he battles against a mysterious curse and a new set of enemies. The gameplay emphasizes fast-paced, brutal combat, with a variety of weapons and ninpo abilities at the player's disposal. Highlights include its challenging difficulty, fluid and precise combat mechanics, and the visceral, intense action that keeps players on their toes. These 30 titles showcase the versatility and depth of the PlayStation 3's game library. From the open-world chaos of Grand Theft Auto 4 to the creative freedom of Little Big Planet, each game offers a unique experience that has left a lasting impact on players. The PS3 era was a time of innovation and excellence in gaming, and these games exemplify the best of what the console had to offer.